All right, so I'm just going to give a brief description of who I am before we start, just in case there are any new individuals that have walked in since the last panel. My name is Hector Alvarez. I'm the founder of Asset Advocates. I've been in real estate going on almost 25 years now. I've been doing marketing and sales for just a little over 25 years. I do financing. I am a hard money lender directly on 45 states. I do real estate investments within the state of New Jersey and now moving into, New York and into the Pennsylvania areas. And today I want you to feel free to understand that this is a session of education. This is a session of learning. This is something that I want you to walk away with later saying, it was worth me going out there on this Saturday morning when I could have been out there doing whatever the heck I wanted to do. So I'm going to take a brief moment to just introduce everyone, and then they're going to come out and say a little bit about themselves, and hopefully you'll be able to start asking some questions. We get into the whole situation here. So to start, we have Lorena Vargas. She's a real estate agent. We have Jose Inoa, also a real estate agent. We have Oscar Nunez, who's also a real estate agent, and also, well, I'm gonna let them get into that whole detail, it's easier. We have Jen Lamb, which is the marketing nerd. She's one of the famous ones that I'm sure everybody sees all over the place. And then we have Michelle Zuluaga. She's the head of marketing of Asset Advocates and the CMO for marketing advocates as well. Lorena, if you will please introduce yourself briefly.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I am Lorena Barca. I work for Special Properties. We're located in Hoboken, and I mainly do residential real estate in mainly Hudson County.
Good morning. My name is Jose Inoa. Currently, I'm working with Keller Williams, but we just founded an Inoa Realty Group with my partner Ronald Roman in the audience. We also are getting into the buying and holding, the fix and flips, and the wholesale market.
My name is Oscar Nunez. I work for Keller Williams. I've been a real estate agent for 3 years as a part-timer. It's been 7 months as a full-time. And I'm founder actually from the Nunez group, which I already had 2 members within a week, and we're looking to grow,
Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Lamb, and I go on Instagram. Everyone knows me by Jen, Marketing Nerd. I help Paul, who's the CEO of the Internet Marketing Nerds, and assist him with growing the industry here in New York City, as well as New York, now New Jersey. I'm always here in Jersey. What we specialize is in growing brands. Paul has been growing his business in the entrepreneur space, so we cater to like Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, Zig Ziglar at Millet, some of like the big renowned entrepreneurs. So I have a pleasure to be in that space. Nevertheless, I do help other people, such as like realtors and dealerships grow their marketing. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out after the break. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Michelle Zuluaga. I am the current Chief Marketing Officer for Marketing Advocates. We are a company that helps brands and market local and national businesses as well as real estate agents. And I'm also the head of marketing for Asset Advocates. My specific background is more in marketing and public relations as well as brand imagery and brand management.
Thank you. So I'm gonna go into exactly what we're doing here. This particular panel is named Growth in Real Estate. So growth in real estate is touching on every aspect from how to grow your real estate business, either using social media, normal marketing, as well as doing certain little things within your real estate agent's lifestyles. So I'm gonna start off fairly easily by going straight to Jose. I've never done cold calling. That's not my forte. I used to do telemarketing, I hated it. So what is it that makes you so successful when you cold call somebody?
Well, first is getting the good leads. And usually when you're calling someone, you want to make sure that person that you're calling is actually interested in what you're calling about. People mistakenly call it cold calling. I call it warm calling, because usually, thanks to Oscar actually, if I'm cold calling you, I've probably already door knocked you, I've probably already sent you a mailer. You've probably already seen me on Instagram, so it's kind of like a warm introduction, like, did you get my piece of marketing? Have you seen me? Do you know who I am? Do you recognize like a company? If they don't, then you introduce yourself and then you go into the cold calling. And just try not to treat it as telemarketing, you know what I mean?
Well, the thing is that from what I'm noticing, what you're saying is you work in a relationship within a relationship, so you have your own team around you that's either doing one thing or the other.
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily just cold calling somebody and getting, shut down because they may not be interested. You've already taken the initiative of saying, okay, let's move on to Oscar. How do you get him that particular lead to make him actually feel more comfortable in calling these people?
Well, pretty much my business is based on all. Hello? It's all based about door knocking because I like creating relationships. So for me, it was better door knocking because I'm clearly too young. So if I was cold calling and then I was making the appointment, as soon as they see me, they have a different perspective and they don't really want to work with me at that point. But if I'm door knocking, I put it this way: I have 60 seconds to convince that person I should be their agent. If I don't get to engage with them within 60 seconds, that's my goal. I'm not getting that lead, right? Because that's the only thing that affects me at this point, right? Clearly about being young. So that's why I door knock, because I want to create that relationship face to face. And if I'm cold calling, I mean, it works for a lot of people. For Jose, it works, but for me, I like going to the supermarket and they tap me on the back and they're like, "Hey, you door knocked my house like 6 months ago." But if I call them, they don't recognize me physically. So I'd rather go actually house by house and kind of take it from there.
I mean, you're touching upon the fact that you're young, and I want to bring that into this because I want a lot of people to realize a young man such as himself to be in this industry and doing what he's doing, that takes a lot of guts, man. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm not the one. I can't go into a door. I mean, I always tell people, open the door, I got you. I'm the biggest closer you'll ever have in your life. I can make any business happen as long as you tell me, heck, to go in and make it happen. But I'm not the one who will actually go out there to that door, knock on it, and expect something to happen. It's not my nature. We all have different values that we bring into this game. So for a young man to go into this situation and go straight to the door and make it work, that takes a lot of initiative. So I want to talk to Jen. Jen, now let's talk about the fact that we got a cold call, we did a door knock, or we already have this whole perspective of somebody's interested. What can be a follow-up to that to lock it up if they have not yet closed it?
Sure, absolutely. I really feel that the power of social media is underestimated. There's just so many different platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I mean, they all have a different purpose, but marketing as a whole is being able to reach out your audience in different ways, right? So using LinkedIn, using Instagram, different ways, that's how you're gonna stay on the forefront of your customer, client, prospect, whoever it may be, right?
So let me ask you this then. I mean, we're talking about someone who went to a door, got a phone, had a conversation, got a phone number, has not yet locked up that deal. So that means there's still some follow-up that has to be done, right?
Yeah.
Then, he went to Jose. Jose, do me a favor, call this guy up. Maybe we can make some money together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Jose calls. Now, the person's a little more interested. I mean, as you may or may not know, you need 8 touches to get a guaranteed sale, okay?
100%.
So whenever you're doing sales, please understand, your first touch may not always work. I believe it's not even 12% of the time will you lock up a deal in the first time that you've ever spoken to somebody. By the time you get to the 8th touch, and I mean touch meaning phone call, door knocking, follow up on social media, email, anything that happens to touch upon that person when you're doing that sale, by the time you get to your 8th, you're almost guaranteed you're going to get a sale. Turn off the phone. So by me saying that now, it's like we're now at the 3rd stage, right? So this is going to be the 3rd touch.
Right.
What does Jose have to do to try to get this person to say, okay, you're not interested now, but maybe I can, contact you back later on? What would you say is a different method that he can utilize to touch upon that person once again?
Sure. I mean, we're in the entrepreneur space, so that's one of the things that we need to keep in mind, right? So bringing value to that person, if not to trying to close that deal in that moment, and you feel that you're learning their situation, they might be going through a divorce, they might be going through other issues in their life. If you find those pain points in a client and a customer, and you're seeing that, hey, like, I'm not just here to close the deal, I'm here to try to help you any other way, they're gonna trust you. They're gonna be more lenient to doing business with you.
Well, it's all a trust game. At the end of the day, we
Right.
need to gain trust. I mean, you're talking about a young man who just walked up to a door to try to convince someone to give him a $500,000 house and give him the responsibility of selling it. And then you have Jose here who's trying to convince it, look, I'm sorry, I know he went there, but So, I mean, we have to do these things, right? We have to build a relationship with
Build
these
a
people.
rapport.
So I want you guys to understand, we're here trying to show you the different methods of building a relationship with a client that you may have never, ever met in your life, all right? So, with that being said, we have a question, actually. Hold up. I forgot, we're all talking, so you know how it is.
What's the one personal trait would attribute to your success, whether it's knocking doors or closing deals? What's the one personal thing that you have? Forget about this mic. What's the one trait all relate to, whether we're in real estate or not, that drives you to success?
I think it would have to be our tenacity, right? It would be tenacity. Like, you have to be relentless and you can't stop. Like the other panelists were saying before us, you have to be not afraid to fail. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna call 100 leads, you're gonna knock on 100 doors, you're gonna hit 1,000 people. It doesn't mean all of them are gonna come back, right? We play what's called the law of average, and you gotta average, you gotta hit a lot of doors to get a certain amount back, you know what I'm saying? So it would be tenacity and just keep going, I guess.
I'm Hispanic, so I like to focus in that area, and I like to make people feel comfortable speaking their language. And obviously, if I'm in Union City, for example, first thing you say, you greet them with a smile, and you always become that local agent that knows their language, that makes them feel comfortable, that educates them about certain things that they may even have a question about. Hey, do you know how to apply for a permit for a pool? Like, for example, I got a question yesterday. Then you become a source of information. You let them know. I believe Oscar told me the other day that some lady brought up something about a doctor, and he went out of his way to send her a list of doctors. Has nothing to do with real estate, but then again, that person will remember you because you provided something that they needed.
For me, it's perseverance. In everything that I've done in my life, I just persevered. Like a wall came my way, and I was like, let me figure out a way that I'm gonna take it down, right? Like, what it is that I need to do to make this happen. So essentially, reverse engineer. I've done that with everything that came my way. I mean, when I met Paul, I was running my own agency with social media marketing. I was helping retail and businesses around my area. And I was frustrated. I was like, oh my God, I'm doing this alone. And I'm opening up accounts, I'm doing their social media, I'm doing the posting, fixing the pictures, like doing everything, and there was no way that I can scale. And I was frustrated. I was like, it's so hard to find partnerships and find people that you can align with, that see your vision, that know that you can do it, right? And for me, that was so hard. But when I met Paul, I was like, I just dumped all that stuff that I had on me, and I was like, this is what's happening. And I'm really happy that I work with him, and I'm partnered with him because he's been able to take off a lot of that work that I was doing by myself. So now that we are working together, now I can focus on one lane, right? Like building relationships, aligning myself with the right people, helping people that want to be helped, right? As I always thought, I actually had a conversation with my sister while I was getting here, and I was giving her advice, and I said, you can help everyone that you want, but you can't force anyone to do anything. They need to have that within them, like that fire that's gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And if you're ready, then I can help you, right? So, I was really fortunate to meet Ty Lopez, and Grant, I almost met him as well. And for me, that only happened a year ago. For me, that was wow, life-changing, from helping, retail businesses around my area to meeting all these, wealthy entrepreneurs that are doing well for themselves. That was empowering for me. And yeah, it's like going to the gym. You see the results and you just keep going. So that's just kind of my fuel, my my thing that I just persevere through every obstacle.
You, all right, to answer your, should I answer this question? Okay, so mine is kind of like uniqueness and be a stalker, to be honest, because I mix everything together. So, like Lorena said before, I met this lady at Dornor, her house. She told me she wanted to move to Florida, but she didn't want to go there because she didn't have doctors that she would trust. So I asked her which county and which area, and then the next day I search it up, follow up with the doctors in the area in Florida, a specific town, a specific county, send it over to her. She called me 2 days later, Oscar, I want to list my house with you. I literally took me, I door like 150 houses, and I mix my marketing, social media kind of thing. So when I ask people, when I door knock a house, I don't even ask for a cell phone number anymore. I ask for the Facebook account because now I see when they were born, who are their kids, who are their family members. So I kind of literally, I become a stalker, and now I just kind of, it's organic. I don't need to follow up with them on a call every single morning or anything like that. They just see my post on Facebook. Oh, just listed, just sold. They comment on my pictures. They DM me all the time. So even when I'm door knocking, if they don't have Facebook, I'll ask for their cell phone number. But the first thing I ask for is Facebook, because afterwards, they just become my friend and it just becomes organic. So for me, it's kind of like uniqueness, and I become a stalker somehow without pushing them too much. So now with social media, it's kind of so organic that they're gonna see your face all over the place,
I guess for me, I kind of want to bounce off what Oscar had mentioned with uniqueness, because all of us sitting at this table and all of us in the room, we are entirely very different people, but that is the magic. You sell what you specialize in, and since we all have very unique qualities, that's what you focus in on. That's what makes branding so effective. Once you find what it is that makes you special, once you find what it is that makes you different and that sets you apart, that's what sells. And that's the thing with being unique, that you already have that within you, and once you find that, that's what will effectively tell your story the best way. So I always say that my best characteristic is my charisma. It is who I am. That's the magic.
All right, I know we have a question, but I just want to tie in everything that everyone spoke about here. And I don't know if everybody caught it or not. Relationships. You're building a relationship with whomever you're going to work with. Every little comment that just came out of all of our panelists literally stated a relationship. They had to find a way to convince this individual to trust them, to give them everything that they're willing to give them, just using different methods of doing so. All right, so if you've heard anything from this particular, just last 10 minutes, it is go out there as a real estate agent, go out there as an investor. Remember, no matter how you look at it, as an investor, you got to build a relationship with who you're going to buy and who you're going to sell to. You actually have a bigger job than anything else. A real estate agent has to build a relationship with everybody at the end of the day, because they need to have people that are willing to give them houses to list, and then they have to have people that are willing to actually let them sell them a house, which is even harder because now you're talking about taking money from people. When you're selling a house, you're giving them money, but when you're buying a house, you actually now have to go to a real estate agent and tell them, why am I going to give you, the trust of me spending $500,000 based on what you're going to tell me? It's all a relationship.
To be
Good
honest,
question.
I really don't have a script. Like Hector said, I actually want to build a relationship with them. Now, before I used to go with a tie, suited up. Now we go with sneakers, jeans, a regular shirt, and I literally just knock on the door. I do 3 types of door knocking. Mondays and Tuesdays, for example, that's my schedule. Mondays and Tuesday, I do around my listings. So circle prospect, just listed, just sold. Because for me, you need to come with information. It's not about, hey, you want to sell your house. I never tell anybody, hey, you want to sell your house until they bring it up. If they bring it up, it's because, for me, it's kind of like, you should sign right now because you open the door for me. So I tell them, look, I just listed this house, and we have over 20 calls already for show me requests. Let me ask you, if I have 10 offers on the table, only one is going to be accepted. Can I bring 9 of those offers to your property, and we could just get it off market? And they're like, how much you could get for my property? It's funny, I always give a huge range because psychologically they think it's the highest number. So I tell them, look, your house is worth between $500,000 to $1 million. So psychologically, they're gonna think it's worth $1 million, but I never did anything wrong. So once I get into the house, never mind, it's actually worth 500. But I just wanna get my first feet inside the house. So once I'm inside the house, it's kind of like up to me to get the listing or not. And then I went yesterday 1 hour away because it was an expired listing in Jersey City. I searched the name on the tax records. It came out on 9 properties. So I was like, I need to go to this house. And it was just one property that expired. I drove 1 hour away, risking gas and everything, because I don't know if he was going to be home or he was going to be somebody crazy and, kind of like punch me in the face or something. But I just still went there, and I got his information, my listing appointments today at 5 for 3 properties, but it's something about unique, right? And the first thing that I did is I asked his social media, I added him on Facebook, and then he started liking my pictures of all the properties that I have sold within the last month. So now psychologically, I'm his guy now because they see me all over the place. So I try to mix everything expires. I invite people to the open house so they can meet my team and see how I do my stuff. So for me, open house is kind of my listing presentation because I invite the entire neighborhood, the all homeowners. I mean, at the end of the day, I bring my other agent, she takes the buyers, but my main goal is to do my listing presentations right on the spot. I have my listing paperwork there, I have my exclusive listing paperwork, and a lot of times it works. And I do 1 to 4, but I don't book anything after between 4 and 6 because somebody's gonna tell me, can you come over my house right after? I was like, yes, sir, I have between 4 and 6, can I come over? And I already kind of like, that's why I try to mix everything. And I don't sell real estate to them because I'm not selling refrigerators, I'm no Amway, none of this. So I just want to create that relationship with them. If they ask me how much you think is my house worth, they gave me the answer that I wanted. But for me, just look, I'm inviting you to the open house. Unless it doesn't expire, of course, I go directly to the deal because they already have that incentive to sell. Otherwise, I just want to create that. People tie me on the back. I go to different supermarkets for that reason. Hey, you door knocked on my house like a year ago. I don't know who you are, but you want a list? I just kind of take it from there. So that's pretty much what I do.
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to jump over here and bother Lorena for a minute. She's been a little quiet. So I know that you're big on posting on your stories, and I've been noticing that a lot of times you're doing walkthroughs in the homes that you're either representing as an investment property or even when you're on your way to do like some type of listing or even open house. How successful has that been in generating additional leads?
Well, it's very successful to kind of, again, going back to establishing a relationship with a potential buyer or seller because they see you out in the field. They see you representing the seller. For example, if it's your listing, you go through the house and they see how you can potentially represent them or showcase their property. So it becomes more of you're selling yourself through your story, and so it has helped a ton with people reaching out and saying how they appreciate how I'm showing another property, and they would like me to do that for them.
So it's really a tool, because everything we're talking about here is tools. Please remember that. It's like these are tools that you're going to utilize to keep continuing to grow your business.
Absolutely.
So her tool right now is utilizing the stories on Instagram to actually build up a relationship simply by showing them, this is who I am, this is the personality that I have, this is the potential that I have actually on selling your home. So using Instagram right now, you've been able to actually get people to give you listings or leads or whatever the case may be.
Yes, last year I believe I profited close to 15,000, if I'm not mistaken, on
And
commissions
how much did it cost
alone.
you?
I'm sorry.
How much did it cost you to do that?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Social media is free.
All right, so this is going to go over to Michelle because we've been talking about a lot about social media, but we're forgetting a couple of different things here. There are other mediums of marketing. And I want you to answer this particular question. Do you feel that social media has totally overtaken, let's say, your standardized media, such as either everything else? I'm talking about real world media. We're talking about magazines, billboards, whatever the case may be.
I think that social media has become the most prominent form of advertisements and branding and storytelling, but I do not think that it's the only one. And I say this because I always believe that an effective marketing strategy is a multifaceted strategy. It's something that comes from all different areas. When you think about big brands or well-known names, it's because you see them in different mediums, whether that's in print, on broadcast, through social media. And when you connect the three of those, you create a presence. And once you create a presence, you create familiarity. Once you create familiarity, they suddenly know your face, they know your name, they want to know more about you. That will then breed a relationship, which can breed trust and loyalty. So when you combine forms outside of social media, such as billboards, outdoor advertisements, direct mailing, any kind of broadcast advertisement that you do, that will create a brand for yourself, and it's just a different medium to tell your story outside of social media. Personally, I like to think that social media is more personable. Like I said, you can tell stories there. If you, like, just like Oscar said, when he liked all your pictures and he saw like all the properties that you've done, through your stories, you can effectively tell who you are and what you do, whether that's on a more personable circumstance or on a professional circumstance of, this is my resume, this is my online resume.
And Michelle, I'm sorry, just to piggyback back you. You have to remain relevant. There's so much going on. There's so many people posting. There are so many realtors.
Yeah.
But you have to find what makes you special, and you have to keep at it. Just anything you do. I can be at getting a CO, I can be showing a property, post. And it's content, and people are on their phone 24/7. So use that. And
Exactly. And even just thinking about it from a consumer mentality, we consume content. So the more that you put out, especially when it's meaningful content and content that's true to who you are and what you're trying to say, that's key. That's what's going to sell.
Especially a key point on being meaningful is we're all in the business, but we're not only business people. So like I see, for example, Ron posting his son Issa when he goes on his family vacations, like also show them the human side. You're not only a business person, you're also a human being. So to the point of Oscar, to relate to someone, you use that as a way to relate to your base.
Yes, a question.
Without messing up the other businesses that I'm also doing, right? There's certain things as an artist that I can't post as a realtor. So now I also want that to be known also that while I'm a realtor, that I'm also an artist or that I'm also a photographer. How do I tie them all together? And also, how much of personal stuff do you post on your business pages? What's the balance?
Sure, so I want to ask you, like, you're a realtor, photography, and what else?
I'm also an artist.
An artist.
I put that to the side now to concentrate more on real estate. Also, I'm also a photographer, so I've also put that to the side a little bit, but I'm still trying to incorporate it together because there's also photography in real estate.
Yeah.
Well, how do I?
But like, an artist encompasses so much, right? So you need to be specific. Like if you say an artist.
Oh, I'm sorry, a music artist. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
all right, perfect. So to answer your question, right, like, I always put it this way, like, you need to set priorities for yourself, right? If your main source of income is real estate, then you take that main approach. You use photography as, your passion, something that you do for fun, right? People go on social media not to be sold on anything. You got to think about that, right? People go to be entertained or to get value. Two main keys why people go to social media. There's no other way, right? If they go, or they want to see drama, right? Who doesn't want to get entertained by drama or something that's exciting? They don't want to look at a listing. They don't want to look at a picture of like a house. Nobody's going there for that. Nobody's going to look at social media to buy a car, right? They get drawn into that by the way that you present that, right? So if you're doing real estate and you're doing photography, then incorporate those two things and say, like, look how amazing I take those pictures of those houses, right? I am a realtor, but I do photography, and these are my two passions, right? And like, you're an artist, like you say, you're music. Is that like production or singing? Like what specific? Okay, so you can like make it so much fun, literally. Like you can sing your way through success and use photography and real estate all tied in together. Think about it this way, like one thing people don't realize is that marketing and sales and everything that we do, it's all connected. You just gotta think about the creative ways of making it connect. Right? I just gave you the connection, right? Like you're singing, you're taking those amazing pictures on the background, and you're selling those houses. That person that's gonna use your services, they're gonna say, man, this guy is amazing. Not only does he sing well, but he takes awesome pictures. Like that is your uniqueness, so you need to bring that out. and just make that consistency. Be consistent. If you're gonna be that, then be that. Don't say you're gonna do real estate or do photography and like let it fall apart. Make sure that whenever you are delivering that content, it's all tied in together. That's gonna be the force.
I guess I'll just add something really quick onto that. Exactly what she said, be who you are. It is completely okay and absolutely beautiful to be a multifaceted individual. That's exactly what we are all meant to be. We're not meant to be boxed into just one facet of who we are. We're meant to unlock all of our potential, which includes more than one thing. So I would say if your brand is to be those three things, or to be more than those three things, be cohesive in sharing all of that, especially on social media. Like it said, it's meant for entertainment purposes. It's meant to be personable. And you would actually be very surprised at how all of our worlds connect. I myself am a multifaceted individual, and I do other things like art and dance outside of just my regular day job in marketing and PR, but because you open the doors for so many possibilities and so many different audiences, you gotta realize everybody here is multifaceted too. Everybody has a passion, a side hustle, something else that they care about. And if you were to share yours, you'd be surprised at how many different doors open for you with other people like, oh, I know somebody who does something in this, or I also do this. And suddenly your worlds start to connect, but that's only if you allow them to. So I wouldn't advise you to separate them. Join them, because that's your unique trait. That's what's gonna help you.
What you have to realize is this. I'm going to go back to a couple of things. At the end of the day, like I said, we eight touches, right? So right now we're talking about quite a few of them up here. Because in what you guys are trying to do right now is you're real estate agents. You need to grow your business. So when you look at that, you have to make a plan. You have to sit down and say, what can I do to try to get to as many people as possible, but being able to approach them differently from different areas and as many times as I can. Social media is a great avenue, of course, but that's just one. All right, so if you don't have your face out there in other ways, you're not going to really get out there if that's what you're looking to do, how to grow your business. Unless you're straight in the face of someone and you're just like Oscar, there's got to be other ways to do it. You have to go out there and figure it out. You see, because it's all about perception. You have to give the perception that you're this big real estate agent, that you know exactly what you're doing, that you're going to be the best one on the block. Because remember, we're talking about quite a few real estate agents in the market. You need to set yourself apart from everyone else. All right, so using the tools that you're right now learning, that's just a piece of it. That's not even everything, if you understood. We can't squeeze everything that we want to talk about in just 45 minutes. We're literally just touching the basis of it. And I'm going to go back to Michelle on this one because, again, I want everybody to realize one thing. Everybody's so focused on social media, they forget there's other mediums that have to take place. You understand? Because as a business, and you are a business, please realize that. You're a business. You're not an agent. A real estate agent is just your occupation, but you're an actual business. The only way you're going to get paid is if you go out and actually make things happen. Michelle, let's talk about this now. How many individuals, especially, I'm going to bring up this name, and I know everybody's going to bug out. Dekansky, all right? This person has the perception that he's the #1 agent in the entire state. Why? His face is everywhere. I'm talking about this man is seen all the way up and down the highways. This gentleman's all over social media now. That's just a perception, people. It's not that he's really, I'm sorry, I can't say that. He's very successful. But the perception of him continuing to do that continues his success. How can someone actually grow their business by giving a perception with them, just utilizing marketing properly?
Well, it's kind of like I mentioned earlier, where an effective marketing strategy is a multifaceted one. So that means not just using social media, not just using direct mailing. Start to get creative with the ways that you get your face out there. Again, the reason why you're so familiar with Dekansky is because he is everywhere. And especially for people who specialize in certain counties and local businesses as well, since you're local, you want to make sure that you are the #1 face seen in that town, whether it's through mailings, whether it's through billboards, posters, local broadcast advertisements, any different kind of venue that you can find, that's where you want to be.
I like the fact that she focused on one thing, local. Find where you want your business, and that's where your business is going to be. If you're going to be like a shotgun, just shooting it and waiting for something to hit, that's what's going to happen. You're going to keep waiting for something to hit because you're all over the place. It's all about focus. It's all about keeping key to what you want. Find a location that you're like really interested in, such as Clifton. Concentrate there, build your business and reputation there, and then expand out. Right now, I want each of the panelists to say, what is your concentration? What is it that you want to do with your business? And how is it that you feel it's going to continue to grow based on the actions that you're going to take? Lorena.
You mean, so your question is where we want to focus? Or?
What is your focus on growing your business, and how do you feel that's going to really make you succeed?
Okay, so social media. I am very big on that. Sponsored ads, Facebook ads. There's this new, I believe it's the chatbot or something, where they can reach out to you and they automatically get a response. It's always you have to be the first person they contact, and you're the first person that answers, because if they can't reach you, they'll go to the next agent. So I try and focus mostly on that.
Okay. Jose?
I would say I would focus usually where in the radius of where I live, which would be like Jersey City, a little bit of Bayonne, and that's basically because, like you said, you got to be like a sniper, not like a shotgun. So like, pretty sure a lot of people, we grew up in the area. I'm not by myself. You see me here, but I'm my team that's behind me. So whenever if you don't see me, you're either going to see Emily, Jaharo, Sarah, Brittany, Ron, Lou's not here, a few other. So we're local. So you'll see us everywhere, sometimes at a bar, and most of the time. But you'll see us in every avenue. You'll see us, like Oscar said, at the supermarket and stuff like that. Because besides your local realtor, we can help you in an incountable number of ways. So that's where we would like to focus on, just like the direct face-to-face.
Okay. Oscar?
To be honest, I think I didn't get the question right.
Well, basically, what I'm saying is, right now, we already know what you do. All right, we already understood you door knock.
Yeah.
But outside of door knocking, what is the concentration that you're right now focused on to continue growing your business?
To be honest, I'm a fan of this, building relationships. I want to go everywhere and kind of have an interaction with someone and try to help them in different ways. So that's the only reason I do door knocking, to be honest. I know I've said this multiple times, but it's more like I want to create a relationship. Wherever I go, I want to talk to somebody that I know. And right now, I was just on the door. I say hi to so many people that I saw at some different event. So I want that because that's going to grow my business, and I'm going to be able to help somebody else. Because I go to Union County, I do public speaking, and then I get so many referrals of people that don't even come to Hudson County at all. Okay. So that's the reason I like this interaction with people face to face all the time. It's funny, I run to my gym. My gym is 2 miles away. I never drive, and the reason I run is because I'm saying hi to every single owner while I'm running, and everybody just kind of, hey Oscar, how's everything? I just keep going. I see a bunch of realtors, and I'm just going to the gym, and it's 2 miles away, and never run. I run all the way to the gym and come back walking, so I could say hi to more people, and that's the reason I do it. Okay, awesome. I park my car on purpose far away so I could walk home. And then I'm saying hi to everybody while I'm walking to my house. Yeah, and that's no parking too. But no place. Yeah, but I like that. I park away. I'm sweating.
I'm gonna buy you a fanny pack so you can put your business cards in there. All right, Jen.
Yes, that's my thing.
So my focus is in helping people build their brand nationally and internationally. One thing that you guys need to understand is that we're dealing with technology, right? This is not like, of course, we want to start within your community. Everyone should know what it is that you do and what you specialize in your community. You go to the, laundromat or supermarket, wherever it is, people should know Oscar and what he does. Start with your community first, but then you need to expand. Mm-hmm. So my goal is to help people build their brand using social media marketing and advertising nationally and internationally. I connect with people in Russia and so many different places of the world, South America, Ecuador, I recently connected with someone in Russia, and they actually invited me to speak in Russian. I was like, whoa, we gotta figure that out. Nevertheless, I'm super excited because it's an amazing opportunity. I mean, us just being here is another way for us to put ourselves out there and find people that need help, and that would follow us, and that can resonate with us. But you need to think outside the box, not just your community, but also internationally. Technology's there. A lot of times, when people want to ask me a question or they want me to work with them and help them, I get on a conference call, Zoom call. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Now we can do business anywhere. That is not a limitation, right? So we need to use that technology to our advantage.
So I guess I'll just kind of bounce off of where you started with branding, and I just want to take it a step back from that. My focus is storytelling. I tell stories. That is how I help build a brand from the roots up. I think that's the best thing in being able to, I guess, share your story as an individual to then eventually expand and sell that as a business, which is exactly what you are. So I do that through different mediums of telling your story, whether it's designing your advertisement, producing your commercial, helping you find exactly what it is that portrays an accurate representation of who you are and what you have to offer and what makes you so special. And I think that with branding, having a cohesive image and a good centralized focus on who you are and what your story is from beginning to end, that's what's gonna set you apart.
Thank you. All right, so just a couple of closing statements before we head out to lunch, actually. We have some food out there for you guys. Take away one thing, at least from this particular panel specifically, because this panel was actually put together to help agents and investors that understand how to grow business. A growth of business is you deciding how and what you want to do. All right, it's just like anything else in life. If you don't have a plan, if you don't have a focus on what you're really trying to achieve, you're not going to do anything. If you wake up every morning thinking, well, I'm just going to get up and life is going to happen, guess what? Life's really actually just going to happen. It's what you decide that you're going to do that's actually going to come out when you go back home, you go lay down in bed, and you look up and you say, wow, it happened. I planned it yesterday. I woke up this morning, I carried it out, and I had a really great day. Build your relationships, get your brand out there, prepare yourself, and actually be successful based upon the fact that you focused and had a plan laid out to make it happen.